Hey y'all, it's Stephanie Nicole. I just wanted to kind of get straight into it so I'm not wasting anyone's time. So let's get right into it. If you're here right now, it's because you're ready to stop sitting on the sidelines and you're finally ready to launch your short term rental or your Airbnb property. You probably been watching other people make money, post receipts, and talk about Airbnb, but you are kind of wanted it to be your turn now. So, tonight I'm going to take you through the step by step process and we're going to show you exactly how to find the property, how to buy it, even if you don't have a lot of money. And we're going to show you how to get it fully set up so you can start making income month after month. So, I just want to say this class is for action takers. I'm not here to inspire you. I'm not about to be motivational tonight. I'm just here to kind of give you a game plan that you can follow. By the end of this session, you should have real steps and that you can take to launch. Even if you're brand new, even if you've never invested before, even if your credit's not perfect, we're not perfect people. We're human. So make sure you take notes, pay attention. Most importantly, stay until the end because at the end I do have a bonus that I'm dropping that is going to help you avoid beginner mistakes that cost you money. So, moving on. Quick reminder before we get into it. This workshop is going to run for about an hour and the replay will be available inside the community. If you check the replays or the classroom tab to watch it again and catch up if you miss anything, I would suggest that you put your phone down, turn your TV off, close out all your distractions. You showed up for a reason, and God places us in certain rooms for a certain message, and that's why I show up every time, even if no one else does. So, what I'm walking you through may change your financial future. So, I would say, pay attention, be serious. You don't really need more motivation. I think most people are needing a step by step plan, and that is what you will be getting tonight. So I would want you to be fully present, take notes, make it count. And of course, if you're receiving any value throughout this presentation, you can visit me on any page on Stephanie Nicole RVA. So here are the topics we're going to be covering. I'm going to really go deep from A to Z, starting with finding a property and how to finance it. Someone asked me at this recent event, and it was such a long answer. So I just went back, added that section. So that's why this class is a little longer than I wanted to be. So I just want you to know how to find a property. So if you're not already a homeowner or have access to something that you're thinking about putting on Airbnb. So this is not rental arbitrage or whatever other people are doing, whatever the folks is doing. I deal in ownership because ownership gives you freedom. So we're not talking about renting anything. We're going to come from a mindset of owners, not consumers. And I am going to help you with that. So moving on to our short-term rental game plan. So before I break down the step-by-step game plan for launching your first, short-term rental, Airbnb, whatever you call it, I just want to share how I got started because it wasn't like some big fancy beginning or I didn't come from money, none of that. So I had a mentor that was, his main business is short-term rentals. They have a portfolio that is in Afton, and I was behind the scenes, doing the management, handling social media, and I kind of got a front row seat to how the whole thing worked out, but I was still kind of in the long-term rental space. I did have property, but I wasn't thinking short-term rental. So I ended up buying a house that I moved to. I wanted to live on the water so bad, but I did not want to leave my $700 payment. So I was like, I'm going to find a house where I can rent out, a space in my house just to test it out. So I got a property, added a guest suite. It's right inside my house. It was nothing major, just like a 2 bedrooms, 1 bath space I'm not using. And that space started to make more money than the rent that I was charging in whole houses. So like I still have some long-term rentals or properties because there are people who just did not move out and they just been there. So I just keep them there because I'm not really one to do too much, especially if you're paying. But my actual house is not, it's not even a whole house, it's a guest suite, makes more money than my rental properties of whole houses. So that's when I kind of knew I was sitting on a gold mine. So that's what all of this is about tonight. I'm just and it's that was a while ago, so we're moving on to like 2025. So whether you're starting with a full house, a room, or you're just trying to figure it out, we're just giving you the game plan step by step that help me create an actual business that pays passive income every month. So let's get into it. So let's talk about why short-term rentals work and why this strategy is so powerful for wealth builders. First, the demand is strong in most areas. People are traveling more, whether it's for work, whether it's for a weekend getaway, family trip. Everybody that's on this call right now or is listening to this message right now, you've probably rented an Airbnb. Most people want something better than a hotel or something that gives them the access of being at home or a home away from home, and that's where you kind of come in. Secondly, the money is just higher. Like the cash flow, the monthly payments are just higher compared to long-term rentals. What you earn in one weekend, you could match or beat, if you were to collect rent from a long-term tenant for the week or even the month, because it's more a lot more money than what you would get as a regular rental. Third, you can automate like 80% of the work. That's what kind of makes this process scalable, from guest messaging to pricing to cleaning. There's something for everything that, or a tool for everything that can handle a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So if you've been, kind of trying to figure out your way to grow your portfolio faster, if you already own something, short-term rentals do give you the freedom to earn more, work less, and you still get to build real assets. So moving on. Let's look at the numbers because this is where it gets real. This is where we get anchored. So short-term rentals generate 2 to 3 times more income than a traditional long-term rental in the exact same area. That's what I'm trying to, drive the point across. And additionally, according to AirDNA, the average short-term rental in the US brings in between 2,700 and 5,500 per month. The top performing hosts are earning 8 to 10,000. So these are real numbers. We're not operating out of fantasy or what somebody else told us. This is people who are pulling the data from their platforms. So again, that's not hearing from your cousin, auntie, brother-in-law that Airbnb is a money maker. This is raw data. So this is why short-term rentals are, a powerful play. And you don't need a huge portfolio to see a major difference in your income. So all you need is like 1 or 2 well-positioned properties set up the right way, and you have a six-figure business. So I did want to include some samples, and this sample is from Afton, Virginia. This is primarily where our team properties are, and it's it's like more like a wedding spot. Like it's popular for weddings, popular for, you know, getaway vacations. So at the end, I'll drop a link to the comments to all our listings at the end so you can see real life examples of the points of this whole class. But anyway, this is a 3-bedroom home purchased for 300,000. So if you just booked it for 15 nights a month, which is very doable in the area with the right setup, all you have to do is make sure that you have the key things that we're going to talk about in this presentation, and then your average nightly rate at 400, which I'm gonna let you know, y'all, we don't charge 400 in Afton, okay? Can y'all mute your mics, please? Somebody mute your mic. Anyway, in Afton, our lowest price property is $550 a night. But anyway, we're going off the averages because I like raw data. If you keep it at 400, that's $6,000 a month in gross income. So after your mortgage, monthly expenses, assuming that using other people's money or using some type of financing getting these properties, you're going to walk away with over $3,000 in profit just from one property, and you did not use your own money. So infinite return if you can position yourself right. So this is why location matters, strategy matters, and that extra suite or guest friendly, space in your house in the right market could out earn just like a regular rental property. So moving on to a second example, because I don't want y'all to think it's all, fairies and ponies. I want to look at a $300,000 property in Richmond, Virginia. So this one is booked around 18 nights a month with an average of $170 per night. So that's roughly $3,000 in gross revenue. So after expenses, which is your mortgage and everything, you're going to leave with about $800 in monthly profit. So it is still profitable and is most likely higher than, most long-term rentals in the same city. But this kind of shows you that you have to know your market. You want to you want to run your numbers, and you want to have a plan. So this is pretty much the difference between like getting money and then really getting money, or like really cash flowing if we're trying to be like politically correct. But it really is a difference like between getting money and then really getting money, because we know some people that's getting money, and then we know some people that's really getting money. So all right, y'all, I don't even have a full like slideshow for this part. I just want to talk to y'all real quick because we're supposed to be family. Everybody in here probably know me, so this is probably the realest thing I'm gonna tell y'all. A lot of people ask me how to find property, and this is how you find property. It's gonna be like so simple, but write it down. So number one, you want to get with people who sell property. You want to go talk to realtors, wholesalers, investors, builders, home inspectors, people that cut grass, anybody. But you specifically want to get with people who already sell property. You want to talk to anybody that's moving property and let them know that you are looking. If you're a realtor yourself, that's amazing. Great job. I commend you for making that step in your career. But that does not mean that you just sit on your own connections, you just sell houses and be, traditional. Call people, expand your circle, talk to other realtors, talk to wholesalers, talk to investors, talk to your clients. Other people can still bring you off-market deals. Other realtors can still bring you deals. They can bring you wholesale deals, distressed listings. I've bought houses from realtors. I think I got all my best deals from realtors actually. And I'm a realtor. So just start networking like your next deal depends on it, because it does. So talk to people, call folks, post online, hop on Facebook, type in, hey, I'm looking to buy houses. Send me what you got. DM your investor friends. Let everybody that you know that you're buying. You can go on Zillow, you can go on Redfin, Realtor.com, that's all cool. But I need you to get beyond the apps. If you are not a realtor, get with a realtor. They can set you up on a search, and they can send you deals directly. And they just really have a network of people that they can tap into that you don't have if you're not a realtor. It is what it is. And then when you find something, you don't be scared to make your own offer. We are in a buyer's market, people. I don't care what it's listed for. You offer what makes sense. You offer what makes the numbers work for what you're trying to do, what your goals are for your short-term rentals so you can cash flow. And if they say they don't want it, cool. If they still on the market 30 days later, give them the same offer. That's why working with a realtor is important. They can help you structure your offer. They can submit it for you. And then if you're a person that's uncomfortable about making a quote unquote lowball offer, send it through a realtor. They will send it. I promise you. They can't even like tell you, no, I'm not going to send it. They're going to send it. They're going to submit it for you. And then you are now anonymous. Get with a realtor. It's a lot of people be trying to like get caught up with commissions and how much I got to pay and this, that, and the third. But how much are you leaving on the table by trying to keep $1 in your pocket? A lot of us will try to save pennies and walk away from dollars. Like we missing the whole point because we trying to penny pinch. Most of the time, you're not even paying for that person. So get with your realtor, and if they're getting paid to bring you a deal, they deserve it. Point blank, period. You're not the only person on earth. Back to the market. We are in a buyer's market. Want y'all to just think about it. Buyer's market. This is exciting times for an investor. This is the time to shoot your shot daily. Like, just keep going in the gym. Like, y'all think Steph Curry just shooting them threes like that? No, he's been shooting shots every single day, and now he just makes them. So we are shooting our shot until we land something that fits the mission that we're on. And if you really want to do the work, y'all, because listen, you can do the work and make a little piece of change doing this right here. Getting deals, finding people who want to sell their house. Get in your car, start driving for dollars. Look for property with tall grass, boarded windows, mail piled up, roof need to be done, whatever. That means they're most likely a motivated seller. So if you see that property and you don't know how to, reach out to the owner, you don't know how to find them, I do break that down in my community. So just go check the class and we will show you how to drive for dollars and skip trace. If you don't want to join, cool. Talk to a realtor. They can find people. We have a whole app where we get the phone numbers directly to homeowners. And if you're a realtor and you're in Richmond, Virginia, and you don't know what app that is, get with me so I can get you to get it downloaded, because we know everything about everybody. So I'm going to wrap this up now. The summary is network, speak up, put in offers, drive for dollars, post online, make calls, and just shoot your shot every single day. And that typically is the way that you find property. Like, it's not like a secret. Like at that same event, I thought this guy who's in luxury properties was gonna like give us some secret that nobody knows about how to find luxury properties, and the secret literally was to network. But anyway, moving on. Let's talk about where you should be looking. The best cities for short-term rentals are not always going to be the ones that look the most luxurious. We are going to look at data. I don't look at what something looks like. I like to look at the data. Let's run the numbers first, and then we'll get into, making it pretty. So for short-term rentals, specifically, you want to use tools like AirDNA, Mashvisor, and Rabu. And those are how you can kind of dig into the numbers, and they show you things like the ADR, which is the average daily rate, how much you're going to be making a day on average. It will show you the occupancy rate. That's how many nights people are booking on average. You want to have these numbers. And it will give you your competition. See how many other short-term rentals are in that area, and see what their condition is. Are they luxury, or are they more, lower end, or do they, cater to families? You want to have all of that information up front. You want to look for a high ADR, a high average daily rate. That means that on a daily basis, they're paying a higher price. So you're getting, instead of, the $140 in Richmond, you can get the $400 in Afton. You want to look for strong occupancy. You want to look for low competition. That really high ADR, strong occupancy, low competition, that is the combo that is going to put money in your pockets. You don't want to ignore seasonality either, because there are some markets that are super hot for 3 months and then you don't get any bookings for the rest of the year. So you need to know what your year looks like so you don't get shocks in your slow season. And then you also want to make sure that you check local trends in the market, because some areas are adding more regulations to short-term rentals and some are kind of like opening up to it. So what's legal now might not be legal in 6 months. So you want to make sure that you check. That's why tools like AirDNA, they're going to be important for you, because they kind of show you the story behind the numbers. So before you buy anything, I want you to always do your homework up front. Don't just buy a house and then figure out what you're going to do with it on the back end. That's kind of moving backwards. You want to know the numbers up front, create your buy box, and find properties that are within that window of what you're comfortable with buying according to your numbers. That is how you avoid buying something that only looks good, but in real life, it kind of like flops on you. So, moving on, you want to know the rules. This is one of the most important things I can say to you, because before you do anything, you need to make sure that you can do short-term rentals. Like, you got to make sure that they're allowed in that area. Don't assume because it's a cute house or it's near a beach or whatever that you can rent it. That's how people lose money. You want to look for short-term rental friendly zoning. I would say no HOA restrictions. I probably wouldn't even try it in an HOA. It's just too finicky. And people definitely can report you there. HOAs can shut you down quick, okay? Quick. They'll shut you down quicker than the city. I would be more afraid of a HOA than the city, okay? So you want to make sure that you are reading the rules for HOA. And then as it relates to like the city rules, just go to the city or county website. Just look up the short-term rental ordinance, or you can just call them and ask y'all. The people, they're going to answer the phone. They're going to answer your questions. So say, hey, you know, such and such, is this address allowed to operate as a short-term rental? This is going to take 10 minutes and it will save you thousands of dollars, a lot of headaches, a lot of people looking for you. Last thing you want to do is invest in a property, furnish it, get excited, and then find out you got to shut down 10 days later. So make sure you're not skipping a step and that you're doing your due diligence. So let's talk about what needs to be near your property. Don't willy-nilly be buying property. We're not willy-nilly in this. I say the house is one thing, but what's around it is going to keep your calendar full. So if you're near a hospital, travel nurses are always coming in and out every few months. That's consistent money, and they stay for longer stays. Colleges are good. Professors, parents, they got events, graduations, games, all that. You want to be close to bars, restaurants, downtown life, wedding venues, sports stadiums, or convention centers. People come to town for stuff like this every single weekend, and they're going to need a place to stay. And you want to be in a position to be that place to stay by just doing the research and being near these areas. So these areas do, stay busy, and busy means bookings. So don't just look at, the inside of the house or the house itself. Look and see what's in the area, because we're not just trying to, buy a house. We're trying to buy the location's potential so that we can stay booked. All right, let's talk about what kind of property to buy. In most markets, 3 bedrooms are going to be the sweet spot. And that is just simply because they're big enough for families, groups. They're good for girls' trips, but they're still manageable for like furnishing and cleaning. All right, guest houses or detached units are good. Separate spaces in your house are good. House hacking is good. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all to do. House hack, create multiple income streams from the same property that you're living in. You always want to look for something with privacy and parking because nobody wants to fight for a spot or feel like they're on top of the neighbors. A property with a good vibe gets booked faster. That means good light, cool layout, something that pops in the photos. Does not have to be fancy. Does not have to be fancy. You just have to create a feel per se. So, quick story, I did run into a friend who was renting out a RV travel trailer on Airbnb. And that thing is making the same money as a regular house would. We're talking like it's like a RV. It's literally a car, and it's not even the whole car. It's like something you have to pull, the actual travel trailer. So that just goes to say it does not have to be a big space. It does not have to be a whole house. I don't want you to get boxed in. If it's clean, cozy, unique, people will book it. So just remember, buy for the booking, not for your personal taste, because this is essentially a business move. So we're going to talk about money, because a lot of people, pause and panic when it comes to the money. They're like, I don't have the money. I need 200,000. I need $1,000,000. Like, you don't need a whole lot of money. Not about to sell y'all a dream. You do need decent credit. You do need to be fundable. But the good news is you don't need to be rich to get started. You don't need to be coming from a trust fund. You just need a strategy, and you need a lender. So, me personally, I love DSCR loans for everything. That stands for debt service coverage ratio. And the reason I love these loans is because these lenders do not care about a lot. Like, I don't like to jump through hoops and go find paperwork and go file, and that's a lot. And I'm a person that gets, veteran benefits. So I get 100% financing, and it's still a lot of loops. So I prefer the DSCR because they're not going to care about a W-2. They're not going to care about tax returns. All they care about is whether or not the property is going to make money. So if you have a property that is projected to cash flow, you will get approved based on that alone. You can also bring in partners. You can use private money. You can get creative with subject to. You can do a lot of things. And I don't want y'all to let the funding piece scare you. You just need to kind of know what your options are. Look around for your options and get in position. If your credit is, on the fence, all you got to do is fix it. A lot of us want the results of something, but we're not willing to take all the steps. And some of these steps you can't skip. So if your credit is in a bad position, get with one of these people that fix credit. If your money is low, find somebody who has money. The game really is about leveraging what you do have access to. You want to use what you have to get what you need. So, what to look for before you buy. All right, let's talk about this. I don't want y'all to fall in love with no properties. I don't want you to buy stuff because it looks good on Zillow or it's cute or they staged it real nice. So I want you to focus on the things that matter. So number one is going to be check the zoning and regulations. I don't care how perfect the house is. If short-term rentals are not allowed, it's probably something you should pass, most likely. It's going to be a hard no for me, but I like people to make their own decisions, and sometimes you got to learn from experience. All right, number two, location, location, location. You need to be something that brings near something that brings people in. So that's this, previous slide, whether it's hospitals, colleges, weddings, downtown. If there's no reason for someone to visit, that's going to be a red flag. Next up, layout matters. People like open concept. people are gonna want the properties with more bathrooms. Um, they're gonna want enough bathrooms and bedrooms so that it makes sense. People don't want to feel cramped. So you also want to look for parking and privacy. Um, I'm gonna let you know shared driveways are probably a no-go. If you are somewhere where it has like permit parking or parking zones, stuff like that, probably a no-go. Or if it's like super close to the neighbors, because the neighbors will report you, it's probably a no-go. And neighbors can't hurt your bookings, and then all of that stuff will hurt your reviews. And your reviews are what keep you booked. So ideally, you want to find something that needs little to no rehab so you can get it up and running fast. You want something with curb appeal so you can make your photos pop. And you want to make sure that you're not losing money. So make your decisions with your guest in mind. And yeah, that's how you build a business. So funding does not have to come from your personal savings account, y'all. Y'all don't need all the money up front. If something says, oh, this house is 300,000, that doesn't mean you need $300,000. There are plenty of creative ways to get deals done, like business credit, bringing in partners, working with private lenders, alternative financing, lines of credit, subject to like it's just so many. I haven't even named half of them. So you just need to know what your options are, and I'm going to like go through some of the easier options because you want to use leverage to kind of like grow your portfolio faster. So, buy without using your own money. So, listen up. You don't need cash in the bank to get started. I keep saying that. What you do need, let's just say if you don't got no money, you do need to control the deal. That's what I was talking about in the beginning of finding properties. You want to control the deal. This means knowing how to use creative funding to get in fast and get in smart. It's about leveraging, other people's money, whether it's a partner or a private lender or some type of loan option. If you wait to save every single dollar, you're going to miss opportunities. So we need to think more like business owners and learn how to make deals work for us with the resources we have right now. If the deal is here now, we need to figure out how to close on that deal now. So I hate to keep plugging my community, y'all, but listen, we talk about creative financing. We will be doing some live streams breaking down all the ways to fund or control a deal. We already have wholesaling up there, but we're going to get into subject to seller finance, all of that. So if you are serious about building your business and you want to use creative financing to do so, you may want to join the community. So option one, business credit. This is going to be a game changer because you can use business credit cards with 0% interest to buy furniture, pay contractors, cover your setup costs, and that is all without touching your personal credit. You can literally, and I have done this before, I am testimony. You can use a business credit card with a 0% interest to purchase an entire house. We're going to talk about that in a community, but it can be done. So the goal is to kind of like keep our personal credit protected when we're using our business credit and building our business credit so that we can get access to more funding. So you kind of want to make your money work harder for you. So I do want to say this because I think a lot of people, because of social media, have a concept that business funding is like some type of like grant program. Business credit and business credit cards, even if there is 0% interest, is money that you have to pay back. So we want to move fast and we're going to use the income that we make from the Airbnb to pay back these cards on time. So if this is the route you take, don't expect to make money right away. You're not going to be profiting because you're going to have to pay back these cards. But it's worth it. You won't see profit until you pay off the debt. But This is pretty much about building long-term wealth and not doing like quick flips and all of that. So option 2 is going to be partners or private lenders. So you want to find people with capital who want passive income. They want to put up the money and you do the work. You can offer them equity in a deal or a monthly return, but you want to make it like a win-win situation. You want something that's clear, fair, easy. You don't want to make people work too hard when you're trying to build up. So this way you can control the deal. You don't need all the cash and you can get returns without lifting a finger. So moving into option 3, my favorite two, DSCR loans and subject to deals. So again, DSCR stands for debt service coverage ratio. With these loans, there are no income documentation needed. The lenders approve you based on what the property is projected to make. Subject to means that you take over the seller's existing mortgage without refinancing. Both of these can be done legally easily, because a lot of people, I want y'all to get into the subject to class, because some of y'all not doing them right, and if they not done right and you get into some trouble, it could be messy. But we're going to show you how to do it the right way. Both of these options let you control the property with little to no money out of pocket, and they're pretty much just like investor tools, so you want to make sure that you're using these wisely. So let's break down how to analyze a deal so you don't get caught slipping pretty much. First off, we're going to talk about purchase price. You want to know what you're really paying. We're not just looking at the listing price, but we want to think about all of the fees. We want to think about closing costs, like how much are we coming out of pocket, not just what the purchase price is. So you want to kind of get that number locked in. Next, your setup or rehab budget. This is going to include your furniture, your repairs, decor. Don't forget this stuff because it definitely can add up fast, so you want to plan very carefully. You want to think all the way down to washcloths, like everything that you're going to spend. Then you're going to look at your projected nightly rate. We're going to use our tools, AirDNA, to get numbers on what you can charge. Occupancy percentage is next. So you want to be conservative. You want to plan for like 45 to 60% occupancy so you don't overestimate your income. If you make more, that's great. But you don't want to base your numbers off thinking that you're about to be booked 100% of the time, and then 1 month knocks you completely off your square. So the aim is to clear at least, I would say, 800 or more a month after your expenses. So if you kind of like keep these numbers in check, you will know if your deal is going to be a winner or if it's going to be a money pit. So too many people get stuck thinking they need so much money to start. The money comes from the deal itself. That is just what it is. If you don't have money but you have a deal, trust me, you have some money. Money comes from the deal itself. So if your numbers are good, they're tight, they clear, you show a profit, you show a plan, investors and lenders will line up to fund you. They want to back winners. They want to back people who are going to give them a return. That's why knowing your math and running your numbers is a non-negotiable. When you can confidently explain your numbers and you got the black and white, you build trust, you open doors. So I want y'all to stop stressing about having all of this cash, and I want you to start mastering how you analyze a deal. That is how you kind of win in this business. So let's get into how to set up your rental property, your Airbnb, short-term rental, whatever you call it, so that it actually gets booked. We already got our property. We bought it with our creative financing. We got it. Well, now we're getting into the next step. So this is kind of like where people trip up. They get the property, but they don't think about the guest experience. They don't think about marketing. You want to focus on creating a space that feels welcoming, comforting. You want something that's unique. You want to make sure that guests kind of feel at home. So this slide is all about getting ready to launch, and setup matters. Comfort plus style is going to equal bookings. So we're not just creating a space, we're creating an experience for our guests. Think about how they'll feel from the moment that they walk in. Like, is it cozy? Is it clean? Does it smell good? Does it have that wow factor? Do they have everything they need, or are they having to run to Walmart to get certain things? Like, nobody should be bringing cups to what is supposed to be an Airbnb. So you want to focus on comfort and style, and you will be setting yourself up for steady bookings and great reviews. So let's talk about the basics, which is furniture, linens, all of the must-haves. And I'm going to send out a Google Doc. It's just a checklist to everybody who signed up for the class so that you can have that checklist for what you're supposed to have. So you want to have comfortable beds with quality sheets. That's a non-negotiable because people want to sleep well. You need a fully stocked kitchen, which is coffee maker, cookware, dishes, everything guests need to cook and feel at home. And then you want to make sure you have enough towels for everybody. You want to have some essentials like an iron or a hair dryer, and everything down to even a plunger. So don't forget about extra blankets because the guests do love feeling cozy and you don't want them to get cold. So let's talk about smart tech that is going to make your life easier and keep your guests happy. So first of all, smart locks are a must. You don't have time to be handing over keys or pulling up on people because they got locked out, because people do get locked out. I've had people get locked out with a code. So guests get in with a code and you stay in control. Then there's noise monitors. Now these don't record, so it's not like it's not you spying. It's you figuring out if things are getting too loud so that you protect your space before it turns into a party house, or it turns into a party, or it turns into a place where people are making complaints. So Wi-Fi also is going to be a non-negotiable. You do not want to play with this. People will literally cancel. They will walk in and cancel and then leave a bad review if your Wi-Fi is slow. So you want to make sure that you have good Wi-Fi. I will also recommend having a streaming setup, a TV or Roku in every single living space. That's like living rooms, den, stuff like that. If you can put them in the rooms, even better. But if you're on a budget, sometimes we got to cut some stuff. People want to relax. They want to watch Netflix like they do at home. Last but not least, install a smart thermostat. And I'm putting this in here because of me, y'all. Listen, it not only helps with energy efficiency, but guests love being able to adjust the temperature easily. But also, you will have the luxury of seeing what people are putting your thermostat on. And if they put it too low, you can adjust it. So smart tech keeps your listing competitive, and it makes the experience smoother for your guests. But listen, it makes it smoother for you too. Let's work smarter, not harder. Let's talk about photography that sells. You do not want to cut corners here. You do not want to take your own photos. I'm sorry. You're selling an experience, and your photos are going to be the first impression. The first impression. So you want to hire a professional. Do not take out your cell phone. Don't get your cousin that has an iPhone. I want you to get a professional photographer. Make sure every room gets shot. You want to get the bathrooms. You even want to get the closets. You even want to open up the cabinets to your kitchen to show what's in your cabinets so people know what they are, what kind of dishes are there. They want to see where they're putting their clothes and where they're putting their toothbrush. If you've got like a patio, a fire pit, a skyline view, or anything that stands out, you want to show that off in the photos. These are kind of like unique features that make people hit book. You want to cover every angle that matters. Think like a guest. Would I want to stay here? If the answer isn't yes, based on the photos alone, you might need to reshoot that whole thing and get a photographer. Your photos will make or break your booking rate. So treat them like the money makers they are. Decor gets you booked. Let's talk about decor, because this right here can make a difference between a guest strolling past your listing or stopping and booking. You want to keep it clean, cozy, and styled. You are not doing beige on beige with no personality. We're going to give the space life. We use pops of colors. We're going to put some art on the walls. We're going to use a little greenery. Even if it's fake plants, I wouldn't even tell y'all to put real plants in there. Go grab you some fake plants and throw them in there. It just needs to feel fresh and intentional, like you thought about what you were going to do. Mirrors are going to be your best friend because they bounce light, they make spaces feel better, and people want to see what that fits look like when they're on vacation. So you want to definitely have a mirror. And please, y'all, add a little local flavor. Make a book about the city. Put, some local landmark. Put a guide. People want to feel like they're staying somewhere special and not just another generic space. So no basic setups. You don't need to spend a whole lot of money. We can go on Amazon. Again, I'm going to send everybody a list to some stuff that's like on Walmart. But your guests just need to feel the vibe and your bookings will reflect it. Okay, so this is where the magic happens because you're not creating just a listing. We're building a brand. So I want you to think bigger than just putting a house on Airbnb. Again, what's the vibe? Is it modern? Is it farmhouse? Is it luxe? Give your space a clear identity or its own, its own brand so that guests can feel, the photos from the moment that they walk in. This is what gets the 5-star reviews. This is what gets people rebooking. But if you wanted to take it up a notch, I would say create a welcome guide with everything that you need to know. And don't forget about the local recommendations. You want to put in there, what to eat, where to go. People, when they go, they want to live like a local, like when they go on vacation. And I would say also offer something extra. Maybe it's a cute like coffee bar, fire pit out there, or board games. I definitely put board games in every single space. You can get them from Goodwill. So these little touches make your place memorable and they make it marketable. And when people remember an experience, they come back. And that's what kind of like turns it into a business. So let's talk about automation because the goal is to build freedom. These next tools are what save you time, money, and headaches. And then you can automate, again, going back to the first slides, you can automate 80% of the work if you set it up right from the beginning. So here's the part that kind of gets me excited because, again, we don't want you building another stressful job. We don't want you to build something that you're chained to. We want you to build a income. We want you to build options. We want you to build freedom. So short-term rentals can be hands-off if you set it up right. Again, 20% is not hands-off, and that's essentially like if anything goes wrong. But if you put the right systems in place early, like automation, cleaners, pricing tools, communication, all of that, once it's set up, it runs. So, all you got to do is check in on your calendar and then check in on your bank account. And this is how we work less and earn more, how we scale. And then freedom is the goal. but automation is the vehicle. So moving on to management. Let's talk about managing the property because you've got options. You don't have to do everything yourself unless you want to. You can work with a co-host, which is just somebody local who helps you run the day-to-day. You can go to Evolve, which is a done-for-you management option that handles bookings. Or you can do it yourself. You can manage it using systems, automations, and a team. But it's all about choosing what fits your lifestyle, what fits your income goals. So that is where you start to grow. Let's talk about cleaning teams because clean houses mean happy guests, and happy guests means 5-star reviews. I am going to recommend you get with a local cleaner, build a relationship, and train them yourself. I'm gonna tell you that because it's nothing like having somebody who does things the way that you want them to do every time. Now, you are definitely going to need a backup. And when it comes to a backup, I recommend tools like Turno for just backup and automated scheduling and paying them on time without a hassle. Also, you can use properly to give your cleaners detailed checklists and visual instructions so nothing gets missed. But again, I like building relationships because listen, if you train them right, they're going to do you right and you can trust them. So, good cleaning teams are going to help your business run smooth and they're going to keep your guests coming back and they're going to get you great reviews. So, we're going to talk about messaging and tech that saves you time and increases your profit. So, we're going to use Hospitable to automate our guest messages, to automate our check-in instructions, and automate our reviews if you so choose to. This is going to keep your communication smooth without you having to lift a finger. Now, I'm going to tell y'all get a property management company, okay? Because when it comes to booking, it's more than just booking. It's also pricing. So for pricing, I recommend Price Labs because it gives you dynamic pricing. What is dynamic pricing, Stephanie? It's pricing that adjusts every single day based on demand. So that's what dynamic pricing is, and that's what Price Labs give you. You can use Beyond for competitor-based pricing so you can max out your revenue. But again, I say use management or a booking company. Let them do that for you. But if you don't want to, you can let the tech do the heavy lifting so you can focus on growing your business and not babysitting your listing. So let's talk about boundaries because you want to protect your property and your peace. First, house rules need to be crystal clear. Do not be shy about them. Like, this is your property. Let people know what's allowed, what's not, and be firm. Be firm with your nose because you're running a business. Now, as for security deposits, I'm gonna be real. I personally don't rely on that. Most of my guests already paid through, pay in full through the platform before arrival. So just use your own judgment there. Cameras should only be placed outside in entries and driveways, never inside the property. Be upfront about where they're located in your listing. And cameras are for safety, they're not for spying on people and seeing what people are doing. Like, they want their privacy. And then last, communication is key. Respond fast, stay professional, but don't let people get too casual with you. You want to set the tone, bring them on a professional level. The more boundaries you set up front, the fewer problems you will have on the back end. So I want to go over some of the most common mistakes that I see people make when they getting into short-term rentals, and I want y'all to avoid all of these mistakes. And y'all, I know I'm about to go over time, but I'm gonna start talking faster and not like rambling. But anyway, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. This is redundant, but this is where a lot of people mess up. Buying in areas where short-term rentals aren't even allowed. So before you fall in love with property, check the zoning, call the city, look up on the county website. Do not assume anything. Do not listen to other people and take their advice. Yes, take their advice, but trust and verify. Some areas are going to require some special permits, and then some don't even allow them. And then when it comes to a HOA, y'all run or read every word of that book, because most HOAs have language within their rules that block short-term rentals completely. So if you ignore that part, you could close on a house and then find out you're not even allowed to host guests. Now you're stuck. So don't skip this, because 5 minutes can save you $300,000 in the long run or more. So this one right here will sneak up on you if you are not ready. Underestimating setup costs is a rookie mistake. Furniture, decor, smart locks, kitchen stuff, all of that adds up. You're not just throwing a bed in a room. You're creating an experience, and that experience costs money. And yes, I do teach people to use other people's money in creative strategies, but I do want you to be honest with yourself and make sure you got your own money. That's going into a relationship. You don't got nothing. You expect your man, see, I'm getting a rambling, y'all, but you expect your man to take care of you, and then when he ready to leave, you want half, but you ain't never set yourself up, and now you want stuck looking crazy because you didn't have your own money. You may not have to use that money, but you want to have that money. Nothing is worse than launching halfway, having guests come in and leave bad reviews because you was not fully set up. That is going to kill your momentum. That's going to kill your momentum. So you want to make sure that you are budgeting. Using the wrong lender, that's a mistake. This is where people mess up and leave thousands of dollars on the table. Do not, I repeat, do not pay high interest rates if you don't have to. You're not a regular home buyer now. We're not just being led by the hand and blindly, willy-nilly buying stuff. Again, no willy-nilly. You're an investor now. That means that you need lending options made for investors, like DSCR loans or creative strategies that's fitting what you're trying to do. But anyway, whatever you do when you're signing up for financing, make sure you read the loan terms, understand them, and y'all read these documents before you sign. Ask some questions. Call these people. Call your lender back if you got questions. Some of us get so timid and meek that we won't even ask questions because we feel like we making somebody else uncomfortable. Call these people. That's what they're getting paid for. Because once you close, that's your payment. That's your rate. That's your problem. So you want to be strategic about your funding, or it will eat up your cash flow before you even get started. And yes, that is one of the biggest mistakes that I see. This one right here is going to make or break your booking calendar. Bad photos, boring listings are why people stroll right past your property and book somebody else. Photos sell the property, period. Don't take dark, blurry photos from your phone and expect that you about to get premium bookings. It's not happening. Hire a professional. Show off your space. Highlight the vibe. Let people know what they're getting into. Capture the experience that you're creating, not just the beds and the walls. And then when it comes to your listing, y'all, don't just title it 3-bedroom house in Richmond. That's boring. We are not boring. We need a listing with a hook. What feeling are you giving? You want something that's like cozy, modern, romantic, peaceful. Lead with one of those words. Make them feel something before they even walk into the property. So, all right, we're about to get into some action steps, and this is where we take everything that we've learned and start making some really smart moves. But listen, I want y'all to stay with me until the end, because I am going to share some more secret strategies that I've used. Plus, I'm about to give y'all a completely free website that's going to give you all of the data that you need to run in numbers and research markets and do whatever you need to do. So you're going to want that site, okay? It's a game changer. All right, so this is where we shift the information from information mode to action mode. So if you really want to start building wealth with short-term rentals, these are your next moves. So number one, we're going to pick our market. You're going to choose a city or area where you want to own. This is going to, it might be where you want to live or where you live, but it might be where you vacation or where you see an opportunity. Don't overthink it, just start. Like, just start, and if you are a database person, the data will remove stuff that's not fitting for you. You want to look at areas with demand, and we'll keep fine tuning it as we go and do the research. So you want to use tools like AirDNA or Airbnb for real to kind of get a sense of what's working. Number two, you want to run the numbers. You want to find a sample property. Plug in average daily night occupancy and expenses. Do not skip this. Even if you're not ready to buy today, this step builds your confidence. Use conservative numbers. Aim for at least $800 a month in cash flow. And this is how you're going to know if a deal is worth pursuing. Number three, start researching your funding options. You can use business credit, DSCR loans, private lenders, traditional financing, creative financing. You have so many options. Even if you don't have cash, a whole lot of cash in the bank, because y'all, listen, we come in with value. We come in with decent credit. I ain't gonna say you gotta have perfect credit. We come in with decent credit and a little bit of cash, okay? The key is understanding what is going to work for you and starting those conversations. And then number four, join a community, because that's where you get your support, training, access to live calls. We're talking about funding, building systems, and you don't want to do this alone. So this homework isn't busy work. It's actually some steps that will put you ahead of most people who are literally just watching, all right, just hoping, just wishing, just hoping that if they just watch this next video, they'll become a millionaire. Anyway, let's get into the bonuses, because that is what you're here for the most part. All right, so a little known profit hack that can increase your bookings and your income. Don't just list your property on Airbnb. List it everywhere, like VRBO, booking.com, everywhere. The more places your property shows up, the more eyes that see it. But I will say this, managing multiple platforms can get messy. So you're going to need a channel manager. The channel manager that you're going to use is called Hospitable. It keeps your calendar synced so you never get double bookings. If you skip this step, you may not get the amount of bookings, but if you execute this step, you can have triple your exposure, which means more bookings, less stress. More bookings mean more money. We're going to talk about mindset, because a lot of people get stuck on mindset. So I want y'all to stop thinking I can't afford this, because I think a lot of y'all came in here like, oh, I can't afford this. There's a lot of people, I can't afford this. I don't have that money. That thought is a mindset trap. Instead, start asking yourself, how can I control this? How can I use leverage to make this work for me? Leverage is a game changer in real estate, and it's really how you build wealth. Ownership comes first. You don't have to have all the money in the world. All you have to do is control the deal and control the property. So I want you to shift your mindset from limitations to possibilities, and that's how opportunities start to multiply. I want y'all to understand this is God's universe, and in God's universe, anything is possible. No man can stop you. And then I wanted to give y'all the last cherry on the pie. Here is a tool that is a resource that a lot of people are not even going to tell y'all about. So it's free. It's called Rabu. It's going to show you everything, like how much you can make, what similar places are doing, what it'll cost to set up, how the market's moving, all of that. So it's all in one spot. You don't have to guess or waste time. And then I'll drop the link for you now to all of the stuff that I talked about. So now that we have completed